Hey everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers and a special guest that go through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I'm your host, Nick. As always, I'm joined by my brother, Josh.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, indeed. And then our special guest today, I believe this is her third bout on the podcast. It's Katie from Overthinking Games.
Hi.
Hey, Katie, glad to have you back. It's been a few months. I don't think
It has. I think this is actually my second appearance, but we had you guys on our show. So
That's right. They start to
Yes.
blend together, but you know what?
right.
We'll just say it's the third
It's
official.
the third time recording together.
I've started reading comics in 2024, and like the people who track the appearances of like, okay, this hero was over here in this comic, but then they were also over here in this comic, and their actual first appearance is over here. It's kind of baffling. There's apps for that. There's apps, and it's
They don't need the app. They have the wall with the red string.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need an app. You have red string. What are we doing here? We're just spinning our webs here. Everybody, this is Smashing Game Time. Let's go through the show stuff at the top real quick. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube Podcast and YouTube proper, where you can see our wonderful faces in the square boxes. As always, fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That is right. Word of mouth is king here at Smashing Game Time. We are recording on the day of the eclipse, so hopefully you all didn't stare straight into the sun like my son did.
He's a Kaufman. He's a Kaufman.
He
Oh no.
So we set his glasses up to be like, to where we put a plate on top of his, so he had a little bit of extra coverage, and he'd look, and then he'd take it off and look, and I was like, no, stop, what are you doing? I don't think he got anything like really bad, because I think there's only a certain
You caught
point.
it soon enough.
We caught it soon enough, and I think there's only a certain point where it really messes with your eyeballs. I was also under the impression that when it's fully covered that you couldn't look at it, and my wife was like, no, you can look at it then.
It's a partial
Oh.
eclipse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the partials are the ones that fuck with your eyeballs, because the sun's peeking through, like, fucking look at me.
Well, not only that, but it's
Yeah.
reflecting off the moon, and it has a certain, it's a certain angle of light that's hitting it, so it's almost like not a laser, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a little more penetrating than actually staring at the sun or the moon.
Right. Well, it was
Okay.
beautiful. We saw it down in southern Missouri with everybody else in the country, apparently. And then what is usually an hour drive to get home turned into a 4-hour drive.
Now, out of curiosity,
Oh.
Nick, what, were you, so I heard the popular spots down south were, Poplar Bluff. Is that where you guys were at, or did you go down to the old college town?
We went down to the old college town. I'm repping it on
Okay.
the sweatshirt here.
Those two were the big areas in Missouri, and then I think from there it was I think someone said the shorelines of Mexico is the next best spot you can get.
So what
wow.
we did, we went down to Cape Girardeau. We went down to the campus to go oh, hey, here's this, here's that. We did a quick little visit. And then Burritoville, we went to Burritoville, if you remember Burritoville.
I wish you would have told me you're going. I would have told you to grab me some dirty fries.
They do not travel, Josh. Believe me. So
I know they don't, but still.
Katie, dirty fries are this dish at this wonderful place called Burritoville, where it is a bunch of grilled chicken, and it's nice and grilled, and it's covered in herbs and spices, and then they throw fries on it, and they throw cheese on it, and there's some other sauces in it too, and they're just dirty fries.
Nick, you're not doing it
Mhm.
justice. It's not just chicken.
We
They
have-
can do beef. They can do fish. They did everything.
We have carne asada fries. It's similar, but it doesn't sound as fancy. It does have guacamole and sour cream though, which is a win for me.
Oh, it does sound
Okay,
really
guys,
good.
I just had dinner. I barbecued, and it's not doing justice right now. I want some. I want where both a little bit of everything. All right.
So my wife and I split one of those, and then we gave the kids regular fries because they're not old enough for dirty fries. So we did that, and then we went to a park in Cape and let my son play for a little bit, let him run around, let him
What's
get some
the-
energy out.
What's the age of majority for dirty fries?
Any.
Any.
It's very. It does damage to your gastral areas.
I just
Like staring at the sun. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to subject our kids to that. I didn't want them to eat a part of a dirty fry and be like, oh, why did I do this? I didn't want that to be their first memory. because your first
Okay.
memory is like either this moment of joy or this moment of
Hmm.
not joy. And I was like, you know what? I don't know which way this will tilt because I've had some dirty fries that have gone the wrong way.
So basically,
Oh
instead
no.
of giving him problems where going to the bathroom memory, now I have to wear glasses for the rest of my life because I stared at the eclipse.
Yes. Well, funny enough,
Consequences.
speaking of the bathroom, we tried to go to the bathroom there, and the door's unlocked. And we're like, all right, the little dude's got to go. Let's go to the bathroom. We go to walk in. There's a guy in there, and he slams the door in my face. And I'm like,
What?
lock the door. Lock the door. Why am I getting the door slammed in my face? Why am I the rude one? You're the rude one for not locking the door.
Yeah.
It's true. Was the lock broken?
I don't know, but we went into the women's room. We weren't gonna wait around for like a answer to that question. So we went to the
That's
park.
fair.
We got some energy out, and then we were like, you know what? When this is over, because this is like, as Josh said, this is like one of the hot spots. Like when it's done, this place is gonna empty out, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass getting out of here.
Yeah, I think it says like a 99.1% of the total eclipse was down there.
Was it?
Yeah.
So what we did is we went
That
like
must have been so cool.
we went 2 exits north and found a quiet little park. There was a handful of people there, but it wasn't like crowded. We saw this.
Mhm.
We saw the sun, as the songs
Mhm.
in the '90s said, and then we got out of there and we hit the highway. And I'm like, the highway's busy, but it's not like slow. And then about an hour in, I was like, oh, like when you got the GPS up and it's busy, and you
Mhm.
slowly see the time. Like the time we were originally supposed to be home at 4, and I see it start to creep up in slow little 4-minute increments over an hour. And we eventually had to
Right.
stop because Gus had to go potty again. No story there. Everyone knew how to use locks at this McDonald's that we went to. And we didn't get home until 6:30, so about 2 hours, 2 hours before recording
Jeez.
this.
Well, good job getting back, adventurer.
It was, it was beautiful. Do you guys have any eclipse stories to share?
Yeah, my students were like, "Can we go out and look at the eclipse?" And I was like, "Well, if you have the eclipse goggles, glasses, or someone who will share them with you." And I was like, "Under no circumstances are you allowed to look at the sun with your bare eyes." And so we went out and it was fun. I was like, "This is more fun than English." And one of my students, he was so sweet. He's like, "Here, you can use my glasses." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." So I was looked through them, and I've never seen an eclipse of any kind before, so it was really, really cool. We only had it like it was like it took a tiny little bite out of the corner of the sun. It was really, really minor, but it was super cool. So, and they were happy to get outside for 5 minutes.
I hear that attendance like here was really bad. Like my mother-in-law works at a school, and I would bet that attendance was like below 50% today, if I had to
Mhm.
guess.
Maybe that's why our attendance was really low too. I just thought it was because it was our first day back from spring break and nobody wanted to come.
That too. That you could have had a mix of both.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Any fun looking at the sun burning your retinas stories?
Well, let me start with saying I was super lazy and I was like, you know what? This weekend, my wife left out of town for a bachelorette party. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find glasses this weekend. Well, stupid me, not thinking about it. Everywhere is sold out. So then I was like, oh, I'm just going to Facebook Marketplace and look. And as I'm on there looking, people are trying to sell these, $1.50, $2 glasses for like $5, $10. And I'm like, I've seen it. I mean, last time it came around, I was able to see it and I barbecued. So I was like, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm just not gonna look at the sun. So that's what I did. I barbecued. Barbecued some hamburgers, some brats.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had for dinner. It was
Now,
You,
I'm
fantastic.
you got to bask in its glow, you know?
Yeah.
I'm hurt because I had an extra pair you could have borrowed. I'm also aware of a comic book store that was giving away pairs if you bought a comic. So you could have had a pair for $4, Josh.
Andy said if I would have came to her school today, she would have given me a pair because she had a bunch of extras too. And I'm like, I was too lazy.
It was
It's Monday.
The science teachers were loaded for bear with glasses. All the science teachers had glasses. They're like, "Hey, we've got extra glasses." I was like, "Oh, I should have
So
asked
what
you."
you're saying is they should have gone down to the local schools and just knocked on their science professor windows and go,
Yes.
chance, you got an extra
The
pair of
science
glasses.
people are crazy into this thing. Like, it's weird.
Lane
Well,
was telling
it's
me
cool.
Lane was telling me that there were some pairs that were recalled. Apparently,
Yeah.
like so
Oh
it was
no.
a little nerve wracking. It was like, am I gonna am I gonna fuck up
It
my
was
eyes?
no, it was I think it was like two particular brands, and both were sold by stores that are nowhere near us, thankfully.
It was all high V's up in Chicago. The high V's, they just don't have the right ones. They don't
Well,
have the
if
right
you're really
glasses.
cool, you'd have the Oakleys, okay? Oakleys work just as good.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I feel like you're fucking
I'm
with me, but
sure.
this sounds like this could be something that was Oakley's doing a pair of glasses for these.
I would not be surprised if they were.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up after the show. Uh, hey, we're not just talking the eclipse today. We're gonna be talking games we're playing, some of the news. It's a slow news week for once, so thank you, news gods. And then we're gonna look at, so IGN did a list of 100 games everyone should play, and we're gonna look and see if do you really need to play some of these? Do you really need to? It was a segment on a screenwriting podcast. They went through top 100 movies and were like, yes, no, yes, no. And I thought that would be fun to do from a video game standpoint. So we'll do that at the end of the show. But before we get into all that, let's talk the games we've been playing. So I'm looking at this list. I have the least amount of games, so I'm gonna go first. It has been a busy week. I'm playing Wolong Fallen Dynasty. If you remember, I got this for review about a month ago, and the game was buggy as fuck. And at the time, I had a big stack of reviews, and I was like, you know what, this one will be last. And I can report that it is not nearly as buggy as it was upon release. I haven't run into any major game breaking bugs. I am in the second area of the game. It's a little challenging. There's an emphasis on parrying, and I forget what. So for those who don't know, this is a Souls like. This is from Bandai, not Bandai, Tech Team Ninja. I believe this is a Team Ninja game. If I'm getting all my Souls like, did Team Ninja do Neo, Josh? Neo and Neo 2?
No. No, I don't think they did that.
I don't have it in front of me, but this is a Souls like. This is a Souls ass Souls like. If you've played a Souls game, you've played this. If you've played, what's the Souls like that isn't Souls and isn't Bloodborne?
Lies of P.
No, not that one. I
Eliza.
do like that one though. What's the, what is it?
Nick, you're failing today.
I'm
And yes,
dude.
Team Ninja did do Wolong.
Okay, so I was right
Sekiro?
on that. Sekiro, yes, Sekiro
Okay.
is the other oddball out. The one offs that they've done. This is very much like that. Emphasis on speed. You can actually kind of change how you play based off of the different abilities you have. You can put points into like fire, water, earth. You're not a bender. You're not a bender. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying all these elements. You're not a bender. It's fine. I need to play a little more of it before I write my review. But I can officially report that it is not buggy. More on that next week, though.
Nice.
I'm still playing Pepper Grinder. I keep
You're
going
never gonna
back to
finish
it. For those,
What is that game?
Pepper Grinder is a cute little 2D puzzler where you have a little drill that lets you dig into the ground, and you're running through levels really fast, digging through the ground, trying to get to the end, picking up coins, trying to beat the level in a record time. You've got enemies all around
Ooh.
you. It's very much like a fast-paced Donkey Kong Country. Like
Okay.
it's got the aesthetic of a Donkey Kong Country with the wonkiness of it and everything. So I'm going back through and I'm doing the speed attacks on levels. I'm about halfway through. It's a lot of fun. Some of these levels are really challenging. There's one where you kind of have to, so you're in the water and there's a volcano in the background and it spits up lava and it comes down. And then when it cools in the water, that's when you can dig through it. And there's a specific section where you have to wait for there to be enough lava for you to dig up into the next area. So the level is, you have to beat it in a minute 30. And by the time I get to that spot, I'm pretty sure I'm at like a minute 20. And there's still
Ooh.
another like 20 seconds left in the level. So it's very meticulous, very like, okay, what corner do I need to cut and where? Where am I fucking up before I get here? A lot of fun, very challenging. I'm going to 100% this game. I just know it. Those are really the only two games I've been playing. I am in the heart of Writers Fellowship season. The Paramount fellowship application is due April 1st, May 1st. And so what this application requires is an original script, a spec episode of an existing show, a resume, and an essay, like a 500-word essay. Essay, resume are
Oh,
done.
wow.
The original script is done. I need to write a new spec episode, so I chose Mythic. Mythic. The sun has fried my brain. I've chosen Mythic Quest, and I rewatched season 3 over the weekend, and I have to say, I forgot how much I didn't like season 3. It just by the end of season 2, and for those who don't know, Mythic Quest is the Megan Gans, Rob McElhenney, Charlie Day show, where they are a video game developer company for an MMO called Mythic Quest. It's kind of a company that's like, the game's already out. They're just like releasing when the show starts. They're releasing like DLC or like what are the big packs for MMOs called, Josh? Expansion packs. There we go. See, the sun fried my brain.
Maybe it was the 4 hours of driving.
That too. So yeah, season 1 and season 2 are about like like an expansion pack coming out and then like getting to it. It's very funny. It's got Danny Putty in it. It's got I forget Cricket's name from Always Sunny, but he's one of the leads in that. Rob McElhenney's in it. Just a pretty funny show.
Doesn't it have Ash from Hey Ash, What You Playing?
Yes, she also voices what's her name from the bow and arrow game with the robot animals that everybody loves.
Oh,
Horizon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she voices redheaded lady. I forget redheaded lady's name.
Oh my god.
Alloy.
Aloy.
I'm pretty sure that's her.
Alloy.
I've seen her name around. I'm pretty sure I've seen her name next to Aloy.
That's cool.
So she's in that. So by the end of season 2, they've put a lot of work into where like the characters are starting to separate a little bit. Like Ash's character and her girlfriend in the show are leaving for college. Rob McElhenney's character and his partner from the company are splitting off to start their own development company. There's their head of monetization's been sent to prison for some shady shit. Like they put in all the work by the end of season 2 to separate all these characters. And then season 3 starts, they kill off CW, who is their like elder writer. I forget his name. He is also in the latest season of White Lotus. He's like the older dad character for the guy from Sopranos. My brain is completely failing me right now on every front. But they wrote him off of the show because of some stuff behind the scenes. Old people. And then they end up just like bringing all these characters back for some reason. It doesn't really make sense why everyone's back. It just kind of feels like they couldn't think of anything. So it's like, oh, everybody's back. Here you go. And by the end of the season, everything resets to where Ian and Poppy are back. The Ash's girlfriend splits off to do her own development. Like there's so many repeated beats, but it just feels like the whole season's a reset. This season also, there's a lot of NFT and meta stuff, and this came out December 2022 into the early parts of 2023. So they're making NFT jokes, making metaverse jokes, but they're not really like making fun of it. They're kind of like backing it. And then when you go behind the scenes and you realize that Rob McElhenney was kind of into the crypto for some stuff, and I think there are some other people. They're involved with Ubisoft, so it's like, oh, well, they're not gonna be able to make fun of any of this shit because they're partnered with Ubisoft to produce the show. And it's a rough season, and now I'm like, do I really want to write an episode of this? Am I really gonna be able to? Like, am I gonna write an episode after season 3? Am I gonna write an episode somewhere else in a season? Or in the series? It's tough. I don't know. But
I mean, you could do an episode based on the layoffs that have been happening this year.
I don't know. See, what I was thinking like, Josh, did you watch any of the Psych Odyssey 34-part documentary that I was bragging about all year last year?
No.
Son of a bitch. So there are 2 points in that documentary where they stop working on Psychonauts 2 to do this thing called Amnesia Fortnite, where they basically have a competition where people in the company pitch a game, and then they make 4 of them, and then the best game wins.
Hmm.
And they do that in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I was thinking of like, if I was gonna set it after season 3, everybody's come back. They're kind of like, they're trying to go to the well for a new expansion pack. They can't think of it. So Ian is like, let's do an Amnesia Fortnite. And it's a pairing of like weird characters that don't get paired up a lot. And then just the ensuing madness from that.
That works too.
So we'll see. I was gonna do something about Sweet Baby Inc., but I think it's played out at this point. I can't look at any Gamergate 2 stuff without vomiting. I just saw a Kotaku in Action post that was like, "Hey, Stellar Blade's gonna make you hard," and I was like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?"
Jeez, please tell me that's the. Are you actually doing the once a week bring up one of the Kotaku in Actions? Please tell me that's the one.
If you want me to read it, let me read it.
Yes, please. It's so cringy. I have to laugh at it every time.
Ugh.
Katie,
I
are you
had to
familiar?
block. I had to block Kotaku in Action because I was like, this drivel. I can't let it into my brain. Like, carry on.
Sorry, let me. I don't mean to bring this stuff into your life. It found me. Since
Oh
I
no.
since I
Yes,
write
Nick
for
is patient zero.
since I write for Hard Drive now, I have to go into the deep dark corners of the web and find these creatures spewed about so I can make fun of them on the internet. Let's see.
You're doing Lord's work.
It might have got deleted. I see.
Oh,
Here it is.
Got a
Stellar Blade will make
screenshot.
you hard. Oh, it's a video. I'm not watching this.
Oh, that ruins it all. Yeah, we're not watching that.
I'm not.
I'll look
yeah.
at it later.
I'm not.
I'll look
giving
at it
this-
later just to see.
Oh,
I'll look at it later just to see it.
Here's his
Just to see what
description.
they're doing with it.
Here's his description. We'll read this. I haven't read it yet. YouTuber by the name of Fleekazoid does a necessary review of the Stellar Blade demo from the perspective that matters. Gamers! It's a wild and crazy video that is equal parts admiring the character and equal parts analyzing the gameplay. I don't know. I got a little admiring the character.
Well, I mean, why have, Pornhub and games when you could just put them together?
Well, in Texas they can't have Pornhub anymore, so everyone's getting a copy of Stellar Blade to replace.
So now they're all really getting into visual novels. It makes so much sense.
But yeah, that was your Kotaku in Action minute for the week. People like there've been people that are like, "What? Give them a chance." Like, no, they don't argue in good faith. They're fucking idiots.
No, they're the same people who are like, "Oh, women don't have facial hair." Clearly, you've never been with a woman in general.
I saw a lady today. I saw a lady today when I was looking at the eclipse. She had facial hair, and I was like, those Kotaku in Action guys wouldn't believe this. I'm sorry. That was my initial thought, which is, some people would have a mean thought. No, my thought was like, oh, these assholes on the internet would not believe this.
Nope.
Moving on before we give those
Please.
cretins any more time. The last thing, I started a new comic series called Rogue Sun from Image. Author on this is I'm really bad with the Ryan Parrott. I don't know what else he's written, but this is another dip into the it's not the multiverse, it's the massive verse. I'm getting used to that too. Katie, if you don't know, I got into comics a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And it's become a dirty habit. Rogue Sun is about a superhero in New Orleans who dies right at the very beginning. He dies, and he in his bequeathment he leaves his super suit to his son. It's a double entendre. Rogue Sun. It was his estranged. Oh my god! It was his estranged son, and it's called Rogue Sun. And he's got sun. Oh my god, that's neat.
Wow, layers upon layers.
Layers upon layers. So I've only read the first issue. Comics are very short, apparently, and so like you start to get into something, and you're like, oh, well, shit, I got to read the next one.
I have to buy the next one.
I'm 20 issues behind on that one, so I got to get caught up. I'm reading others, but that was like the major one I wanted to bring up because the art style is very cool. It's got like this darker, like watercolor tone to it. Just very, very dark, and it's got the New Orleans setting, which I don't think I've seen outside of Infamous 2, which I believe was set in like a New Orleans inspired city. But hey, that was my long catch up of the 2 games and all the other stuff I was doing. Let's pass it on to Katie.
Okay. I love that. He's like, oh, I have the fewest. I'll go first.
Yes, that tends to be the longest.
He never shuts up. He never shuts up.
The man has a lot to say. That's a good thing. That's why we're on a podcast. I have been playing a lot of things because I was on spring break and it was so great. But because I was on spring break, I was able to have a whole week of what I call weekend games because a lot of the times, like during the week, I'm working, whatever. I don't have like the headspace or the time to like put into games that take a lot of attention and like emotional fortitude. So, so having the whole week off, I was able to really dig into Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time, and I've been enjoying the heck out of that. It's so much fun. For those who don't know, it is the D&D game, and I love it. I'm playing as a paladin, um, who has the Oath of the Ancients, which means that I protect nature and children and joy. And and so whenever I need to do something sneaky, I switch to Asterion and I do all of my evil deeds through him.
I feel like
And it's working out really well.
I feel like you and I are the same person because I had a similar experience in my first playthrough. I don't think I had the same oath, but anytime I needed like to get into some fuckery, I was like, "Oh, Astarion's over here."
Yeah. He'll do my dirty work for me. Yeah, so that's been I think I've put 20 hours into it in the last week. It's been super fun. I told my husband, I was like, I'm gonna be back later. I'm going on an adventure. And he was like, okay.
And he didn't see her for 20 hours.
Exactly, precisely. Also, Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone dropped their rebirth map this Wednesday, which was like the OG resurgence map for Warzone back in the day. So generally speaking, it's a battle royale where you play in teams of like 2 or 3 or 4, and it's last man standing. You only get 1 life. But with Resurgence, you get multiple lives up to a certain time point in the match, at which point you can't come back anymore. But it's kind of like a slightly more forgiving form of battle royale. And I used to play it all the time. And then they took away Rebirth Island, which is like a sort of like an Alcatraz like knockoff. And so they took that away for a long time and they just brought it back this Wednesday. And so my mom and I have been playing that and we've won 8 times. So
Is Rebirth Island and the Gulag 2 different things, or are they the same thing?
they're different things.
Okay.
So on a regular battle royale, you would have the gulag when you die, and it's an opportunity to win a fight against another player and come back. But in Resurgence, as long as you're within the time period that they're allowing you to return, then your teammates just have to survive a certain amount of time, like 30 seconds or whatever, and then you come right back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really more beginner friendly, and like Battle Royale is super fun, but Resurgence is just really fast paced. It's really like frenetic and it's just the best adrenaline rush. I love it.
And it's less work for the guy dying.
Right. Well, you just don't get as mad, right? Because you can come back.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I'm sorry I
So,
died, but if you stay alive, I'll be back.
Yeah, but I'll be back
yeah,
in 10
stay
seconds.
alive.
It's totally fine.
Absolutely. There's so many times where like, just hide. Just hide. I'm coming right back. So, yeah, so those have been my 2 biggest sort of time sucks this week. And then I started playing this game called Balatro. Have you guys played this?
Have you made your way all the way to the last ante? Have you cleared a run yet?
No, I haven't. I'm so close.
I bet I know the boss that got you.
Which one?
It's the boss that got me, the one that's like you can only play one hand.
Yeah, yep, that's the one. Yep. And then there was the other one that got me. So this was like the death of 1,000 cuts because the one where it de-levels your hands.
Mhm.
So like I've gotten my 2 pair up to level 8 or whatever, and they're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. And then and then I didn't realize that carries on. So then I was like, well, this is fine. I'll just keep going. But now my 2 pair is a level 2.
I hated that boss. I had a Joker that like did something where like every face card was a certain amount of multiplier, and I had a lot of face cards, And there was another one that
Okay.
there was a card I had that gave me a token for every card that was still in my deck after I played a hand.
Oh.
And that carried me all the way up until that boss I hit with the you can only play one hand. But
Yeah,
fuck you too.
I can feel that I'm getting close.
Mm.
I can tell. If I just keep going, I know that I will win. But I'm also extremely bad at Slay the Spire and any kind of like card games. I'm really, really bad at them, but I like them. So I think I've put like 300 hours into Slay the Spire and I'm on like Ascension 1. It's fine.
I want to, as soon as I'm done with Wolong Fallen Dynasty, I want to break Balatro. I want to break it. I just want to completely like go in for a run and there's just completely just like, oh, these are this is the combination of jokers I need to be done with the game. Cool.
Hmm. Right. So that you like figure out how to win every time.
Yep. Yep.
Very cool.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. Mostly just endless hours of Warzone and Baldur's Gate.
Oh,
How about you?
you've got one more right here. Is that?
Oh, oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't want to take up all the time too.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I take up way too much. Take up more, please.
Okay. Nick's like, no, you wrote it down on the show notes.
You're gonna talk
We
about
need
it.
to speak the
You
words.
must talk about it.
Detroit Become Human. Have you guys played it?
Yes.
This is I haven't, but I'm aware of it. This is the one with
Oh my god.
This is what's that movie? This is Blade Runner.
Basically, yeah.
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 Yeah. It's so good. Oh my god. It's also, if you've ever read The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. Those are incredibly good books about AI that have become sentient. Yeah, Detroit Become Human is the most weekend of weekend games because the amount of emotional energy that this game is taking from me. you, you follow the stories of these AI, and you have to make decisions that impact the entire trajectory of the game. And at the end of every level, it shows you your decision tree. And you can kind of see, like, it won't tell you what the outcomes were, but you can kind of see where you made a choice that branched you off a different way. And you can see, like, where that dead ends versus if you had made this other choice, it would have gone down this whole long way of different outcomes. And man, I have tried, like, I messed up and I tried to go back and fix it. And I played the same section twice and I kept getting the same outcome. And I was like, well, I guess that's the only outcome. And I got to the end of it and it was like, no, there was 3 other outcomes. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
So you're doing a lot of quick saves, like, all right, I have to go back and replay that scenario.
It's really hard. It doesn't let you save scum at all. I turned my PlayStation off and turned it back on. Because that was the only way that I could think to reset the checkpoint.
When the game cheats, it gives you no other option but to do that, Katie. I don't blame you.
Yes, exactly. I was desperate, and then it didn't matter anyway. I couldn't find the other outcome. So, but it's a really beautiful game. I love any kind of fiction that is dealing with like AI and kind of like just those themes of what does it mean to be human, and when do the humans like lose their humanity, that sort of thing. And I feel like this game really handles it well, and everybody should play it. You should play it if you haven't. It's so good.
It keeps popping up for sale. I may add that. Did you ever play? I think the last time, either when I was on or when you were on, I think I might have recommended Norco, which
I
dabbles a little
have
bit
it.
in that.
I have it now, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay. Because I think that and then Citizen Sleeper are kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to that. I can't get into Citizen Sleeper. Every time I try, I just fall off.
Oh my God, Citizen Sleeper is my favorite game of all time.
I think I need to, like, because every time I've tried to play it, it's been on the Steam Deck. I think it's one of those games where I need to sit at the computer and do it. Because first of
Oh,
all,
okay.
text very small. Text very small. And
Text is very small.
don't let the books behind me fool you. I don't like to read.
And it is purely reading. There is that. But it's also Blades in the Dark style dice mechanics, which is super cool, which I love. Some like partial success, partial failure situations are fun.
I'm gonna give it a go because recently I gave another game a go for like the 3rd time after falling off of it 2 times before, and I loved it. So now I'm like, okay, well now this is the 3rd time. I should love this now. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you want like a primer that will make you really love it, read the Murderbot Diaries first. They're really short novels. They're like 3-hour novels, like little novellas. And then you'll love that character and all of their stories. And then you'll be like, oh my God, Citizen Sleeper is the video game version of this book. And you'll be amazed.
All right, Murderbot Diaries.
Yes.
All right,
Extremely good.
keeping that in my noggin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's it for me. How about you, Josh?
Well, before I start, I wanna make Nick cry a little bit. Nick, speed runs for Balatro. How long have you played it? Like up to the end. How long did it take you to play it through?
I haven't completed a run on Balatro yet.
Okay, how many hours have you put into it? How about that?
If I had to, excuse me, if I had to guess, I'd say 3.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, how would you feel? How would this make you feel knowing that the fastest run on here is 1 minute four? I can't be right.
I
Dang it,
mean,
I was gonna make fun of it, but I thought that said hours. Never mind. We'll come back to that.
I
I'll
mean,
fix that.
I believe it because there's some sick fucks out there.
I thought it said hours. I was like, okay, that's respectable. Now I'm looking at it's minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. I doubt somebody beat it in 1 minute and 49 seconds. Truly,
they
I'd be very impressed.
they may be beefed up.
The
They may have like some cards updated.
This is it's with skips. Maybe it's and it's random seed. Okay,
Maybe
either
they
way,
just skip to the last blind every time, or the bust, or whatever it's called.
Maybe.
it does not say. It just says skips.
It's also hard to believe some of those leaderboards as well because they can be so buggy or someone exploited a
I
bug
look for
to
the
do
ones
it.
that have videos because they're a little more credible.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
even then, you got to be careful. But anyway, I digress. So look at me on my list. Still going through Final Fantasy 13 2. Nick, I only have 4 achievements left, and I'm done with it.
I'm glad. Finish it so we don't ever have to talk about it on the show.
I
again.
trust me, I'm done talking about it. I'm done with it. I'm ready to move on.
But
Ratchet-
hey, I did see you jump onto Final Fantasy Lightning Returns though.
I didn't put that on here because I didn't want to talk about it. Yes, I did start it just because I wanted. For context for everybody, back when it was coming out, I played the demo and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool. I'm gonna play it." I never played it.
I'm always watching you. I just know this. Just know that when you're booting up a game, I'm probably near a screen that has your name popping up, and I'm watching.
This is why I purposely put myself offline and forget to take
Purely
myself off.
because of Nick.
Yes, purely because of Nick. But yeah, almost done with it, and then I'll go to Lightning Returns. But actually, I've been on a Dragon Ball Z kick, Nick. I've been watching Dragon Ball Z Kai.
What saga are you in?
I'm just about done with the Frieza saga.
Kai does a good job of cutting down the Namek stuff. I feel like there's
Yes.
the fact that they land on a fake Namek and it's a whole episode and it makes you think that they're gonna be done with it really quick is just like the biggest like fuck you.
I think the biggest like I was like, oh my goodness, I love Kai so much more, was when Gohan is doing his training. They literally spent like 5 or 6 episodes of him just like doing his little side quest of running around and doing things. I could give 2 shits at that point. I'm just like, give me the juicy content. This is what I'm here for.
Does
But
Kai
yes, Kai does so much better.
Does Kai skip the junior? We might have talked about this previously, but do they skip the Garlic Junior saga?
It wasn't. It would. I thought even with Dragon Ball Z, it wasn't canon. I thought that was like movies. Basically.
No, that's an episode. Those are episodes. That's a saga.
What is that in between then? Which sagas? It's not in between.
It's between Frieza and Cell because Goku's still dead, and so like the strongest warriors on the planet are Gohan and Piccolo essentially. Oh, and I think Vegeta. Vegeta might.
Yeah,
be
Vegeta's there. I mean, Vegeta. I don't know if Vegeta fights, but he's definitely on Earth at that point.
I think that's when he's getting with Bulma. Like that's when
it's
like
when
his relationship.
That's when they're
with
making
Bulma starts.
Trunks.
Jesus.
I'll have to look, honestly. I don't remember because it's been a long time. Like last time I watched Dragon Ball Z through the entirety was first year of college.
That's a lot of TV, Josh. We need to talk about your screen time.
I've never
you see
seen
where it's
it.
at now.
Katie, you should watch it.
I would say you could at least watch it up to the Frieza saga. After that, I mean,
You shut your whore mouth, Josh. The Cell Saga is really good.
no, I'm not saying it isn't, but technically that's where it's supposed to end. But
Okay, time out. Katie, we were just talking about androids and like stories about humanity and finding your humanity, and when does humanity become not humanity. The Cell Saga is essentially that. The Cell Saga is these bad guys have been watching the good guys for like years and years and years in this series at this point, and they basically create these androids to fight them, and they also create this clone using all their different DNA.
Hmm.
And some androids become good guys, some good guys become bad guys. I think you would like the Cell Saga if you were going to watch anything in Dragon Ball Z.
Can you just jump into the middle like that, or do you have to like know what's going on?
I think you could jump right into it, honestly.
Yeah,
It
I
does a
think
good job of explaining everything that's happened prior to that point. Even then, if you never watched Dragon Ball, you don't even know who like the first set of androids are. You're just like, oh, these are weird robots. It's an old guy with a brain glass case on his head and a fat chubby mime.
they do
Okay.
they do a good job of breaking up the sagas to where it's like, oh, you want to jump in here? All right, go ahead.
Okay.
So
Cool. I'll look into it.
do watch it all over the summer. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Recommend Kai. Don't do the original.
Yeah, they talk a lot.
They talk a lot. I mean,
What's
heck,
Kai?
I'm pretty sure the Frieza saga, the fight between Goku and Frieza, what Nick is like spans 20 something episodes, and it's actually in real life like only a 20-minute fight.
Slow down, Josh. Slow down. Katie, Dragon Ball Kai is just like a shortened, abbreviated version of it because all these sagas had all these extra chunks of
Fillers.
fat attached to them. So Kai was like the version of the
Ooh.
show where it's like, okay, we're cutting this. It's the
Okay,
abridged
gotcha.
version, basically, right, Josh?
Yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
just cuts it all down because like there's a bunch of fillers in it that
Oh,
don't
okay.
really add too much context to the actual story.
Oh, gotcha.
What else are you playing, Josh?
Ratchet and Clank Collection, I finished number 1, 100% of it. Now I'm on Going Commando,
The best in the series.
the best in the
You
series.
can stop after that. You don't have to
No,
do
I'm
the
gonna do Up
rest.
Your Arsenal because Up Your Arsenal is a good second.
Yeah, you know what? It's pretty. They're like night. They're like night and night.
I hated 1 though. 1 just
Night
makes me
and
go, how
night.
did this even survive the day of time? It does not bode well. There's a reason why they remade it for the PS4.
It's
And a
it's a beautiful like set piece for the console.
Yeah, after that though, like it has not aged well.
Speaking of games that didn't age well,
Yes, I'm punching boulders in Resident Evil 5, and I'm actually playing with Matt right now. We're cooperatively playing through it. We're all the cooperative Resident Evils that we can play, we're working on them. So we're on Resident Evil 5. We're on the last set of chapters. So we're on chapter 6-2.
did you
Nice.
see the IGN article where they were like, "Hey, you can't do this game in 2024. You can't do it.
Well, in what context though?
It's a racist video game."
Well,
was the
yes, it does
context.
start out with you in Africa, and yes, you're a white guy killing black people. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do it. But I mean, do they want me to
Josh,
be
this,
in South Africa?
that butt is
I don't
carrying
know.
a lot of weight.
I'm just saying, like, no, I'm saying, do you want me to be in like the southern part of Africa where all the white people are and just kill them? I mean, I'm just
I think
throwing it out there.
I think the sentiment is like, hey, maybe just don't remake this Resident Evil.
No, like they'll have to change the setting for sure. It's gonna be it can't. They need to keep Sheva. Sheva is a fantastic character, but I do think they'll need to change the location, and they definitely need to change the first antagonist because after replaying it, I've realized it's Pete Davidson of the villains ever.
It's Pete Davidson.
It's well, it's not actually him, but it's basically him.
Pete Davidson was on SNL. Was his first year 2009, 2010? It might have been after. It might have been later than that.
It's not actually him, but it just looks like him, and he acts like he's like kind of sounds like he's a character. So I'm like, oh, it's Pete Davidson.
Some of those bosses are very wonky, very like caricatures of like corporate like bosses.
I mean, Wesker was cool.
It's the most corporate Umbrella has ever been in this series, I think.
That was the only Resident Evil that I ever beat because I played it with my brother when it first came out, and I could only play it because it was co-op. At the time, I didn't know it was racist. At the time.
I don't think anybody our age did at that point, though. Let's be honest, we were kids playing a game.
What year did that come out? Because I think I was in high school.
Here, let me
Still a
pull it
kid.
up. I was
Two-
aware of some of because I remember when the first trailer came out and folks were like, "Whoa, where is this set?" I remember that being a thing. Resident Evil 5 release date. I want to say it was 2008, but let's see.
Yeah, I would say 2008, 2009.
2009, March 5th, 2009.
Oh yeah, I was in high school.
Yeah, high school. So I
High
mean,
s-
we're still kids though
Yeah.
at
High
that
school
point.
here
Like,
as well.
you're not gonna
Yeah.
think anything past that.
No. I was
You
just
just
so
think, "Oh, I
excited that I
killed
got to
zombies."
play as a girl and I got to play with my brother. Like,
Was this no? Okay, I was gonna say, was this the second time Resident Evil that you play as a girl? But they've had girls in all of them. I was like, wait, no,
I'd say
no.
4 is the only one, but even then, technically, with the separate ways and mercenaries, you got to play as Ada. So
Are 4,
Mm.
3? Were 4 and 3 the only? See, we're
3
getting
you
too
play
deep
as
into it.
Jill.
Because I'm just trying to think of like they were playing around a lot with. Okay, we got 2 characters this time. Oh, we just got 1 this time.
Yeah, no. So
Mm.
3 was the first time it was only 1 character.
Okay.
Because even when they had the one for the Game Boy Color, you could
Gaiden?
switch between
Resident Evil Gaiden.
Gaiden. I think you could switch between like 3 or 4 different characters.
Man, this game looks like crap. This looks terrible. Like it's the lighting they used on it looked really bad. Because RE4 was like a darker game, and this one
It's
like
much
everything's
brighter.
during the day.
It's oversaturated.
Yeah, it's got that Xbox 360 PS3 like green gooey look to it.
Yep. I mean, and it does a little better on a 4090. I can tell you that much. But at the same time, I'm gonna be thankful when I'm done with it. And unfortunately, I won't be done for a while because there is multiplayer achievements.
We need to go back every episode and we need to tally mark every time Josh brings up the 4090.
I've done it
Well,
more than
guys.
once or twice.
Well,
all right?
guys, it looks good on the 4090.
It does.
Does Howl also look good on your 4090?
Well, it's on the PS5, so
Okay, well, what is Howl?
no. Okay, so how is a think of it as how's the best way to put it? So it's a very like ever like see the storybooks like where it's like hand drawn characters.
Yeah.
So it's got that type of art style, and it's turn based. And the idea is you have a certain amount of moves. Each it's like a level selector. So you pick your next level, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this level. I have to kill all the enemies and make it to the flag within 5 moves. And it plays like a tactics where you get, one action is a turn.
So it sounds a little like Into the Breach, where it's like, okay, you have 5 turns. Here are your objectives within those
Yeah,
turns.
no, that's basically it.
Some of them are optional, but some of them are like, oh, if you want to beat this level, you have to do this.
Yeah, so you can go over the turn amounts, but then you get a certain amount of stars, like, a certain amount of points to, if you do it within the amount, you get 3 points. If you do it 2 over, you get 2 points. 5 and over.
Right.
Yeah. Essentially that. It's cute, it's artsy, it's easy to play. I haven't gotten too far into it. I actually have to finish it before tomorrow. So that's probably what I'll do after we're done with this, and probably grind into the morning.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to work. I'd play Wolong all night. But yeah, we can't wait to read that review. Anything else? Anybody going once, going twice? Everybody, thank you for sharing, you guys. It feels like a long week, but it's only been a week, Josh. It's only been a week.
I know. Well, we got some news.
We do. Hey, Josh, do we have news?
Oh, we have news.
There we go.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
What's first?
All right, first off, rumor new Apple product could be a throwback to an abandoned Xbox. I'm going to butcher the word, even though I just was thinking it.
Peripheral. There you go.
This is a Game Right article written by John DiCarlo. I apologize for butchering your name.
DiCarlo. Yeah.
So Apple is on their A game right now. So earlier this week, or actually technically late last week, they announced that they were allowing emulators onto Apple products again. And it's been a long time since we've seen those. So
They're allowing it or not allowing it?
No, they are allowing it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can play your Game Boy Advance games on the emulator as long as you own them. Stuff like that. Now, recently they went ahead and introduced like FaceTime to their
Their Apple
What's
TV
the
box.
Apple TV? Thank you. I couldn't think of Apple TV. So they just released that, but you have to have like an iPad or an Apple phone to be able to do it. Well, now they're starting to look. It's starting to look like they're going to start getting into VR games with the Apple TV, and they're going to, or not VR. I guess technically it's going to be AR. But it looks like it's based on the specs of the Kinect.
Did we mention it was a slow news week?
It's very slow news week. But I mean, it sounds promising. I mean, Apple is. I mean, other than the latest bundle of. Nick, help me out here. Apparently I stared at the sun today.
You
Even though it wasn't
got
out
my
very
sun
long.
brain. I transferred it to you. It
What is
transfers
the new
through camera.
the new Apple
The
headset?
Apple Vision.
Apple Vision. Thank you.
Mhm.
After that blunder, beyond that, Apple's pretty decent with their technology. I'd be very curious to see what comes from it and what developers decide that they want to tackle this. Because let's face it, not many companies use the Kinect. If they did, it was like Microsoft owned.
They used the Kinect in Paranormal Activity 3. They used it as a special camera within the movie to like do like an infrared scan of the ghost. Like there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
there's
I
a
forgot about that.
there's a scene where the kids, this is like one of the only movies that has like really smart kids in it, horror movie wise. And they hooked their Kinect up to a spinning fan to spin around the room and scan. And it's got the little green lights because like how like when you stood in front of your Kinect, it would do a scan of you.
Yep.
And so that was essentially the idea. And like one of the best scares in the movie is you get the figure of whatever the demon is in the scan. It's terrifying.
I mean, the only thing I remember with the Kinect, honestly, that made me go like, "This is cool," is playing a sports game, cursing out loud, and them giving me a technical.
I really enjoyed using it. The TV aspect, like the aspects that everyone hated about the Xbox One, I loved. Like Xbox on TV, turn to this channel, or
Volume up.
volume up, volume down, or
Yes, that was the cool stuff.
Aaron Paul in that commercial hopping on and fucking with your Xbox. Like they had to push a change so that commercial wouldn't make your Kinect go like crazy.
Oh, that's
Forgot
funny.
about that.
That said, I mean, saying Apple's on their A game. I mean, they just canceled their car. They just canceled
I'm
their
not
car.
saying they're on their A game. I'm saying that their technology is known to be decent, except for the Vision, has been known to be decent. And if they canceled the car, they knew it wasn't going to be decent, so they saved you the time and the money.
Apple.
You did say A game. I heard you.
You said A game.
Son of a bitch.
Because I remember
Let
you
the
said it.
recording
On
show
the record.
it. That's
And
what
I remember he said it because I grimaced and Katie was like, "Oh."
I don't remember saying it. I blacked out.
I grimaced right away. No, I don't think Apple's on anywhere near their A game. They put out the iPhone year by year, and it's like, oh, cool. You guys are just doing you doing more cameras. You're doing more cameras. Cool.
Well, Nick,
Yeah.
how about this then?
And then they can't even do their Apple Watch anymore, right? Aren't they in a lawsuit right now where like some kind of part of the
Sure, yeah.
tech has them under like suit or something?
I'm pretty sure that's right. But Nick, who is on their A game?
Or are you trying to transition to the next
I
story,
am
you son of a bitch?
transition. Yes, I am.
Josh, that's not how you do it. You wait until the bell rings. You wait until the bell rings, and then you go.
Oh,
to
I
the
rung
corner,
that bell. I rung
and
it
then you
long
go to the
ago.
corner. Josh, who is at their A game?
Fortnite with getting Avatar: The Last Airbender event later this week. So article over at GameSpot, written by Evan Campbell. Yeah, everybody. Not only are they getting an Avatar: The Last Airbender event, we're also getting new skins. I believe it's Katara, Zuko, and Toph.
So yeah,
Ooh.
Korra is the unlock for the season pass. I guess Zuko and Toph are going to be purchasable in the store, and I have a feeling Toph. It's Toph.
Have you ever watched Avatar: The Last
Is it
I think
Airbender?
it's Toph.
It's Toph.
Man, the
You
sun.
uncultured swine.
The sun. Well, I
What
have
kind
a
of
feeling.
nerd are you?
I have a feeling Toph's going to be a very popular skin because she's like everyone's favorite character.
Once again, Nick, you clearly never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Toph is the Earthbender, right? The blind Earthbender.
Yes,
So-
but you clearly have never. Nick, you probably know that from watching a video or two.
No,
You've
I've
never
seen
actually
the
sat
show. I've seen the show. She doesn't come on until season 2, but she's like the best addition in any season 2 ever.
Something got a little defensive there.
Quote me. Quote me. I don't care. Quote me. Yeah,
Give it like 3 weeks, and you'll be getting those skins on Call of Duty, and it'll be comical. We have Dune skins right now, which never ceases to make me laugh.
Do you guys have are there sandworms in Call of Duty?
No
yet.
sandworms.
That would be so cool.
Sometimes zombies.
Zombies are okay. We
That's
come to
cool.
expect the zombies.
Zombies we can work with.
I think the sandworm would be so cool.
But yeah, no. It honestly, I'd play it just to be able to say I played it because I love Avatar. So
So the new season of Fortnite's okay. It's Mythic Gods. I think there's a melee weapon that's a bit overpowered right now. I think it's like Hades' Chain or something. The weapons are fine. They're still doing weapon attachments that came on last season. What else? Oh, there's a lot of like mission stuff where like, oh hey, you know how like there used to be like the random drop boxes. Now you have to like activate it and go get it, and it counts as a mission, and that boosts up your XP. I'm not too crazy about that because it's like I'd rather this just be a random thing that occurs instead of something that I trigger and then I'm getting rewarded for. I'm not an XP chaser. Like if I get to a level 100, cool. I don't need all the extra stuff. But this season right now is fine.
Is there a battle pass and then a mini battle pass?
So the battle. So here's. Let me rap at you guys real quick. Battle pass is still your regular battle pass, 100 levels to unlock everything. Mini battle pass is something they do every once in a while. They'll have like a special. So like I think the last one was Ninja Turtles. And what that is you get this extra pass, and they've been doing these for a while, but I think they've changed them up a little bit. You have this extra pass, and it has these 2 levels. It has like the unpaid level and then the paid level. And you have to collect for Ninja Turtles, I think the currency was like pizza, and you had to collect a certain amount of pizza coins or whatever it was to like go up this bar and like, oh hey, you unlocked an emote or this or that or this. And if you didn't buy your way into that, you were only getting the top ones. If you bought your way into it, you were also getting the bottom ones. And they've unlocked
the same way.
They've unlocked some cool skin. They've locked cool skins behind those paywalls. Like Darth Maul was like that. I think they make up for it later on where you can just like, oh, like I recently purchased Darth Maul because I missed him because I did that whole pass but didn't buy it, and then so later on he's in the store and I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just buy him. Who gives a shit?
I only ask because in this article they bring up that of course the Avatar isn't available, but more probably will be a part of the Avatar Elements mini battle pass. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize there was a mini battle pass.
Put Iroh in, you cowards.
Yeah, everybody loves Uncle Iroh.
He'll probably just be a character on the map.
That's okay. He's
Kinda
still,
like-
he's everybody's cool uncle.
Master Roshi was on the map for when the Dragon Ball Z stuff was going on. So yeah, Iroh will be somewhere on the map.
Moving on. Helldivers 2 community successfully wipes out robots. That's right, everybody. Kotaku generously giving us this article written by oh Lord, I'm gonna butcher this name. Moses Tavares.
I think you're close.
Yeah, so for those not aware, the automatons are gone. They are no longer in our galaxy. Are they gone for good? Probably not. More than likely, Joel is getting ready to bring in the new third party into the mix, but honestly, people are celebrating and they're trying to now force their way through the bugs before that happens. But more than likely, within the next couple days, we're going to see either a new event, a big update, or all the above.
I didn't really get to fight them much. We fought the bugs a lot when we were still playing.
It's because you didn't like fighting the automatons, and I think Jake preferred to fight the bugs.
We never did. I said I wanted to fight the robots, and you guys were like, no. Like you
I
guys
never
were better.
said no.
Like you guys were like expert fascists. You were like, no, we have to fight the bugs.
I spread democracy evenly. goddammit! How dare you?
You're
And
like,
I'm always
no.
ready. I have that thing up. I have it ready to go. I'm waiting for somebody else to join. I'm not playing by myself.
These robots aren't ready for what we're spitting. We're spitting at the bugs over here, and now they're gone.
They'll come back. They always come back.
The
This-
space fascists
this
have
is-
erased the robots.
This is one of the games I haven't played yet, but I'm starting to get the feeling I got when Destiny really took off. and I didn't play Destiny for a really long time. And then I was like, well, now it's too late for me to ever play Destiny. I can't play because everybody's 8,000 seasons ahead of me and I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I either need to jump onto this Helldivers train really soon or it'll be run away forever.
No, honestly,
that's a fair concern, Katie, but where the difference is this is good, stupid fun. Destiny's just fucking stupid.
I mean, even with this, like, there's no like story to it. It's honestly, it's people spinning it. Like, the only thing we know is that there is a dungeon master named Joel, who has he has everything written out and has all these things planned out for what's going to happen. We don't know that. We just keep getting all these objectives. Like, hey, we need to capture Mavelin Creek.
Mhm.
Like, that was the big thing, and when we lost it, they started calling it the Robot Vietnam.
Oh.
And and then one of the objectives now recently was like, oh yeah, take it over along with like 2 of the other surrounding planets in this sector of the galaxy. And they did that, and ever since it's just been pushing the automatons back to the point where they're completely out of our galaxy. So they'll come back. It's not like they're gone forever. They're definitely going to come back.
Right.
It's just we're waiting for that third group to come in, because if anybody who's familiar with the first one, there were 3 groups: the bugs, the automatons, and I forget what the other ones were called. But it's funny because this is a game. I mean, anybody can literally play at any time. There's no context to it other than you're spreading democracy. Do the objectives: defend, kill, take over.
That's generally
literally
how
it.
democracy gets spread.
Hell yeah!
It's role playing at its cheesiest. It's
Okay.
I think Power World was a little bit, not as much, but Power World was a little bit of this, like, oh hey, like,
I think Power World died though fast.
Power World's still pulling numbers, Josh. It's still got the
I'm not saying
numbers.
it's not. I'm just saying as far as like content wise, I feel like every other TikTok that I see, I mean, obviously I know I'm on the For You page, so because I stopped and watch it, it just cracks me up. They do the alt, dear Lord,
He's got
Elton
sunburn.
John's I'm Still Standing, but like there'll be like people in the back and like, hey, is Mike still on? Should we tell him? They're like, no, let him cook. And it's just him screaming, I'm still standing, but he's fighting everything.
Yeah. I think what Power World has going for it though is they're not 1.0 yet. They're still a little ways off, so they'll get
yeah, that's true.
They'll get that boost when they go 1.0 again. I mean, Hades did it really well. I want to say Darkest Dungeon 2 was another really well received one. Was Dead Cells? Did Dead Cells have a period of time where it wasn't 1.0 and then
I think they did. Yeah.
Like, so we've seen a handful of games like have that successful early launch, but then follow it up with another successful 1.0 launch. So I think Power World will still be of this world. Will still be very popular when we see it again. As for spreading democracy, no more robots.
For now.
Poor robots, man. They
Man,
always get the short end of the stick.
It's a rough episode for robots and AI.
It'll get better.
Katie's helping them where she can. She's like, no, they want to be human.
I'm a AI sympathizer.
She's gonna spread the democracy for them.
She's all about ChatGPT. Katie was trying to get us to do ChatGPT before the show. We were like, no, Katie, no.
I was pushing for it really hard. They're people too.
We got one more here, Josh?
Yes, one more. And this one honestly just irks me so much, at least with this generation. Xbox is moving full speed ahead on the next gen console. Yeah, that says it all right there. And honestly, I didn't have the time to look it up. I know the number is like really like high, but there's still a ton of people on the previous generation still who haven't even touched. Yeah, exactly. And my assumptions are either going to be because the costs are too high, or because every time you've gone to look to buy one, because you're like, oh, I'm definitely going to buy it this weekend, there are none available near you.
Well, and when I can play everything that I want to play on my PlayStation 4 and my Steam Deck, why would I upgrade?
Exactly.
I can play everything I want to play. I'm good.
And then we're getting to a point now where like, okay, we just last year, I think we lost the PS3's store and PS Vita store, and we're eventually gonna hit that with the PS4. But I mean, our PS4. I'm saying that because I'm looking at my PS3 and PS5 right next to me. But eventually with the Xbox One and PS4, they're eventually going to kick off. They're going to have to. But
Mhm.
we have so many people. I think it's the number is like 40% can currently still play based on their average high number.
Wow,
I'll look up the numbers not posted, but it was pretty high. And it's like, geez, that's
that's a
a
lot of
really big
people.
number to sit here and be talking about the PS6 and the uh, Xbox Series XXX. I don't know.
I
Whatever.
well
But
That's exactly what I thought as well. I was like, when I read that article and I was like, oh no, I'm not their audience because I can't imagine what they would do that would entice me to spend the kind of money that they're going to ask for.
I mean, I had a hard time justifying. I mean, buying the PS5 for 500. I was like, it's a really big steep, but I want it because I want, I want the latest and greatest at that point. It just came out. It was just around my birthday. I was like, yeah, let's get this, and I thankfully did. But
Hmm.
honestly, I don't think any of my friends. I think I have like 2 friends out of my 25 friends who have it. Everyone else is still on the PlayStation
here's
4.
here's Josh using here's Josh using this story to brag about how many friends he has. I don't have that many.
25.
I don't have that. 25? 25 friends? What the fuck?
I mean, compared to my Xbox, where I think I had like 120 or something like
Oh,
that.
we're talking Xbox friends. Okay.
Oh, online
No,
friends.
I'm
Got
saying
you,
my
got you. I've
PS
got
PlayStation was
75.
I thought you were talking real friends. I'm sorry.
If we're gonna talk about Facebook friends, I think I have like 400. Okay.
There's no profile. Josh won't click accept if you send him a friend request.
As long as we have one mutual friend.
I think this is a Game Pass push. I think the disc drive is not long for this world.
Mm,
Everything's going digital, as much as it pains me as I enter my physical media renaissance over here. Yeah, disc drive's going bye-bye. Game Pass, this is where we'll start to see Game Pass start to enter ridiculous pricing. I think it'll get that bump up to $20 here in the next few years. I
mhm.
mean, every time I blink, there's a new Netflix price increase. So I gotta stop blinking apparently.
Mhm.
But then look at late Xbox One and then the Xbox Series. Like what games are on these consoles that you're like I need
But that's where I'm getting at. There's
Pentiment?
nothing.
You're telling me you can't just go play Pentiment on a PC with uh, a basically being powered by a TI 98 calculator?
Also, I think that's a really good point about the disk drives and Game Pass because that's why they were talking about preservation and stuff. But um, Valve just did the family share thing on the Steam Deck,
Mhm.
or not the Steam Deck, but just with the Steam library that you can join a family. So I joined my brother's library, and now I mean, we have the same taste. So every game that I didn't have, he has. And like, I'm set for life now. I'm like, I was thinking of getting an Xbox for Game Pass, but now I'm like, actually, I'm kind of good with this. Like, Valve did a good job with that.
Yeah, and the nice thing is if they, depending on who the developer is and what the settings they have on it, if it's a game he owns and he's playing something else, you don't have to wait for him to finish. If it's a game
Nope,
that's available, you can just go play it right now, and it won't affect him in any way, shape, or form or you.
exactly. The only thing that I've run into is he likes Balatro as much as I do, so I might have to get my own
Yeah.
copy.
Stop doing your Balatro run. It's my turn with the
It's my
Balatro.
turn. Oh my God, it's like being a kid again. Chris, it's my turn.
The looking at consoles right now, and I'm looking at the PS5 and like the Xbox Series. Again, terrible naming convention for that, by the way. I'm not see- and I look at those and I'm like, okay, what's coming after it? And I just don't care. Like Xbox, everything's coming to PC or coming to Game Pass or going into other places. Sony will
Is
release
being
it.
forced to do it. Yeah.
Sony will release
Hmm.
it on their console and then put it on PC. The only people really not lock, only people really locking down their exclusives and doing their best to keep them at home are Nintendo. I mean, they just shut down
Hmm.
that, and I know there's others, but like they made an example of that one, and like I'm looking at like consoles in my future, and I'm like, I'll probably get a Switch too. I probably won't get a PS6 or an Xbox, whatever.
Yeah. They'd want to hurry up with that though, because like I've been hearing things about like any new game that's coming out at all that's being played on the Switch, like it's just terrible. Like
Mhm.
they probably should have released like last year or something with a new, like they just can't keep up anymore.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't think they have the games for it right now. That's why it got pushed back to next year. I do think when it comes
Hmm.
out, what they'll do, I think they'll re-release Tears of the Kingdom. because they'll be like, look at this game, look at the power boost this game's getting.
Yep.
And then Metroid Prime
Mhm.
4 will probably be the first big exclusive, and then whatever they're doing with Mario. They probably have like they probably built off of Bowser's Fury and have like this bigger game like, oh hey, look, we did Bowser's Fury. Now look at what we built from that. Here you go, gamers.
Yeah.
It's like all they have going for them is nostalgia.
It's kind of wacky because I feel like aside from Zelda and Mario, there's not much nostalgia anymore. I feel like those are the things
Mm.
that people get really nostalgic for. And before the Steam Deck came out, like the Switch was your indie, like it was where you went to play your indies.
Yes,
And then the Steam Deck
absolutely.
came out and Nintendo was like, "Fuck, they're eating our lunch."
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think the Switch has been carried by newer nostalgic series from yeah. I think the Switch the last few years have been carried by newer series that we're starting to get nostalgic for. So like the Animal Crossings and the Pikmins, which
Mm.
which just baffles me looking back. Like people shit on the
Yeah.
GameCube, but I think the GameCube gave us that next generation of memorable series from Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely love the
Absolutely.
GameCube.
Yeah, I loved my GameCube.
It's the only console still
The-
that has a handle.
The only game that I absolutely hated on it, and I will continue to hate on it, is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Oh,
That
the
game was
bucket.
awful.
The bucket.
The bucket.
The bucket. The bucket. The bucket
bucket.
sucks. Oh, Josh, I'm not gonna forget about the meme this week. You ready to do the
Oh,
meme?
yes. I almost forgot about it. Yes, please.
Meme.
Time.
Yeah, buddy. All right, what you got for us?
All right. So, anybody familiar with American Dad? It's when Steve finds the script for Fast and the Furious. I think it was 9 in the show. It's the scene right before Vin Diesel's character and Paul Walker's character fuck. It's
If you
them
haven't seen the
crossing
episode,
arms.
you're so confused right
Yes,
now.
please watch it. It's a great episode. But it's them clapping arms, and it's Microsoft and Sony ready to shovel the next gen consoles into our lives. And it's the realization of everybody else who's still in the previous generation going, what?
Did you make this?
I did make this.
This is a really Josh. This might be your best fucking work. This is your best work.
Really good.
I thought of it. I was like, oh, I have to do it. I have to do it.
Josh, you are meme king for the week. You meme
Thank
king
you.
for the week. I will say this episode of American Dad came out before Paul Walker passed, so this is still
Yes.
tasteful. This is still tasteful.
Yes. One of the best episodes out there just because they talk about the gay scenes. It cracks me up every time.
The joke, for those who haven't seen the episode, I still say go watch it. But the joke is they find a script and they find a script for a new Fast and Furious movie and they're reading it and there's a bunch of gay sex in it. And so they take it to Hollywood and the Hollywood executive is like, "Oh, this has always been in there. We just cut it out for American audiences." But the French fucking love it.
There's literally a scene where they flip the car over and they start open tongue kissing each other.
It's a great fucking everyone should go watch this episode. It's an amazing
Oh.
episode. Josh,
Yes.
we might have to not do memes anymore because you killed that one. Like,
I know, I was so proud of that one. If you didn't like it, I didn't care. But I'm happy you liked it.
I don't know if I can be disappointed by another meme from you. Like that was so high. Like I feel like any other meme, you're just pushing me off the cliff at that point.
So this one I had you nuzzled up into the I forgot what I was going with.
I'm just gonna
Let's
cut you
move-
off there.
move
We're
forward.
gonna
Hey,
move
let's
into the
move
next
forward.
segment.
It's getting
Hey,
weird, boys.
so a few years, I think this is a few years back at this point, IGN did a top 100 games that you should play before you die, and there was a segment, as I said earlier, on a screenwriting podcast where they were like, "Oh, here are all the movies people say you should watch," and they kind of had a discussion like, maybe not, maybe you should watch this, maybe you shouldn't watch that. So what we did was we pulled that list, and we each have a column here, and if we marked that column, that means we haven't played that game. So we're not going to do all of these because there's 100 games and there's only 3 of us and there's only so much time in the world and we all have day jobs. So we're just going to go through this list, and if there are any that stand out where someone's like, like if they think there's a reason to play it or not. So here, for example, let me pull up And we have a chart if you're watching the video. Chart's going to be very useful. So like here, this very first one, Katie and I haven't played Portal 2. Josh has. Josh, do you think we need to have a grasp on gaming in general? Do we need to play Portal 2?
If you played the first one, honestly, the only thing the second one did that's better is co-op. That's it.
Mhm.
Did the second
That's
one?
what I'm
I
playing
feel
with
like
my brother next.
the second one. I hear a lot about its comedy. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a little more of a story to it. You know how one there really wasn't a story; it's just you going through all these different tests and all these puzzles. There's a little bit of story to it, but honestly, who cares? It's Portal.
It's Portal.
It's Portal. So I look at Super Metroid, and Katie hasn't played this one. Katie, I would say you do need to play Super Metroid. I would say it's just one of those games where I know when I go to play something like Hollow Knight, I have Super Metroid in the back of my head, and I can see the strings Hollow Knight's pulling at that remind me of Super Metroid. But aside from the fact that it's just like the same genre, but just like the things they do with boss fights and whatnot, I think Super Metroid's a really good frame of reference for whenever you go to play any Metroidvania.
Okay. That actually has. I think I will get it then. I've been on the fence about it because people always tell me, "Oh, you have to play it," and I've never really because I've played so few of those kinds of games. I'm like intimidated by the older ones because old games are hard.
They're not only hard, but they're hard to find sometimes too, or hard to find ways to play them that are legal.
Right. I have a Steam Deck, so
anything's legal on Steam Deck land. So we throughout this list, there are a bunch that we've all played, like Super Mario World, Breath of the Wild. I mean, the game basically reinvented how we look at like open world adventures. Only 7 years ago. Crazy to think. Thankfully, everyone played Tetris here. I was gonna get ready to tell everyone why they needed to play Tetris. It's one of the greatest puzzle games ever created. Very addicting. I do think Tetris is one of those games when you're a kid, you're like, this is boring. Get this shit out of here. And then when you become an adult and you play it, you're like, oh no, like this is simple,
cerebral.
Cerebral. It's soothing. It's simple yet difficult at the same time. And if you play Tetris Effect, it'll make you cry, like it made me cry.
I like Tetris Effect. It's very chill.
Very chill. Very good.
And terrifying and stressful all at the same time.
Very good Steam Deck game too.
Oh.
Yeah. I get the headphones on and just I might
vibe.
I might do that.
Like the kids say.
I might do that. I mean, Half-Life 2, duh. Some of the best physics in a first-person shooter. What's the section is that Ravenholm?
With where they has to go through all the crab heads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about Ravenholm. One of the greatest set pieces in a shooter ever played.
One of the scariest too.
Very
first time going through, especially when you get where you have to go through the city and try to get to the church. That part is the most. I mean, as a kid, most terrifying spot ever.
I think as an adult, it still is too.
As an adult, I'm a little more, better at it. But as a kid, I remember going like, "Hell no, I'm not doing this shit again."
And hey, also great on the Steam Deck. Stop me if you've heard that before.
I've heard it.
Let's bounce around. I mean, some of these you don't even. Red Dead Redemption, Super Mario 64. Duh, play those. Red Dead Redemption, one of the best stories, one of the best endings. Super Mario 64, the grandfather of all the 3D platforming you're going to be doing. Josh, do you think Katie needs to play Grand Theft Auto 5?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree.
Good.
I think you can skip Grand Theft Auto 5. I think at that point, the series is really. I think it's a satirical poke at like California and the liberal coast, and I think it's just it's missing the teeth that it used to have. Like 4, I think it even lost it at 4, but it just doesn't have it. Like the game is fun, it plays great. It's Grand Theft Auto, you're gonna have a good time. But
it's Grand Theft Auto in easy mode because compared to all the other ones, where you die in the middle of a mission and you have to restart it, and you actually have to go back to the place. Where this, you could die in the middle of the mission and it's going to take you right where you checkpointed. And it's like, what's the point? That was like one of the grand things about Grand Theft Auto.
I am not a huge fan of Rockstar games.
Understandable.
I
Yeah,
don't
don't
like
blame you.
I don't like Red Dead Redemption either. I
That's
don't
okay.
like.
I mean, I preferred
I
the DLC,
know
the undead
Dempsey
one.
almost kicked me off the show before because of that
No, it's
sentiment,
okay.
but it's just like the movement's like clunky and it's too open worldy. I just don't. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest about the Red Dead Redemption games. If you're in it for the story, they're just better Western movies that you can watch.
Right.
Tombstone.
That do the same thing.
Tombstone.
That do the same
Tombstone.
thing. Then don't make you play like a 20, 40 hour game.
With clunky movement.
Josh, if we're telling her that she needs to play Super Metroid, do Katie and I have to
Yes.
play Symphony of the Night?
It is the same thing, but Castlevania for compared to Super Metroid. It is literally
Okay.
the same exact thing.
Fair. I have thought that.
Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. Is that just Street Fighter 2?
It's basically it's like one. You know like how they have like 5 or 6 different versions of each one.
Yeah, I don't remember
Oh,
playing
I
this
should have colored
exact
that one. I
version.
don't know that I don't think I've seen it.
You're not.
I don't really
missing
play.
anything.
I don't really play fighting games because I had a big brother that kicked my ass all the time in those games, so I don't play
I understand that completely.
them.
Mortal Kombat 4 for life.
Good job, Nick.
He not only did he do it in the game, he did it in real life.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
sorry.
we used to play like karate until like the size discrepancy became such that I was like, this is not fun for me anymore.
I just every time I watch the videos where like it's just like stickmen and like you see the older brother punch the older brother and you hear the older brother go, and he's like, don't tell mom, it's okay, everything's okay.
You're
That's
fine.
every time I think like, God damn it, that's childhood trauma coming right back up.
Yeah, I kicked that dude to the bottom of a closet. Yeah,
You
Street
did.
Fighter 2, great fighting game. A good foundation. But I mean, I think you could skip ahead to 6 and just have a good time. Dark Souls. I hate Souls games, as I said earlier, Katie. But I do think it's a good grasp of where we're at with everything now. They're
I
just
mean,
Could I
difficult.
start with a newer Souls game,
I
or
think you could do Bloodborne.
is the first
think you could do
Dark
Bloodborne.
Souls?
I'd say
would be fine.
Bloodborne or even Lies
don't
of
say
P
second.
even's not that bad.
Which one?
Okay.
Lies of P.
Yeah. Lies of P.
Yeah.
I would say if you're gonna start, do either Bloodborne, Lies of P, or do Elden Ring.
See, I tried Elden Ring and I bounced off of it because I was really bad at it.
Maybe not Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a really big game, and it's not as not as like a tight area where if you go
Mhm.
play Dark Souls 2, or any of the rest of them, yes, it's you can go anywhere and do anything, but it's a little more controlled, and you get to at least
Mhm.
pick one direction. You don't have to like split
Right.
off in a million different ways.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. We talked about Portal. Doug, go play Portal. One of the best puzzle games you'll ever play in your life. Let's do these next two round robin. Chrono Trigger and Doom, Josh. 1993. Do we need to play these?
Chrono Trigger, yes. Definitely makes you it makes you appreciate Square Soft at their peak. And it's also one of the best stories out there, and also one of the first games that has multiple endings. Didn't know that.
Hmm.
I
That's
have
interesting.
a
I
feeling
didn't
you're
know
going to
that.
say no to Doom.
No, actually, I would recommend Doom because Doom
Okay.
it helps kickstart the first person franchise, and I just love hearing adults back in the late '90s going, "Oh, Doom is bringing, it's making my
So
children
violent.
yes, like all that stuff." Like, no, that's not causing violence. Your movies and everything else in between is doing it. You beating your kid probably isn't helping either.
You being a bad parent is making your kid violent.
Yes,
I will say I'm still reading that Doom book. I'm gonna come back when I'm done. I'm 3 chapters in, by the way, you son of a bitch. You said I wasn't gonna make any progress. I'm 3 chapters in.
how long ago did we talk about it though? A month?
It's been a month.
Okay, yeah.
But you heard how busy I've been. I will say it's
But-
fascinating every other month when you hear about Doom. Like, oh hey, we got Doom running on a Zune. We got Doom.
Did
like,
you see what they did this month?
Was it a potato?
No, they took 100 and something keyboards, like RGB keyboards, and that's how you play it. It's all the lighting of the actual keyboards to Doom.
Jeez.
It looks so cool though.
But
gotta
yeah, I
put that
think
back.
Doom. Even though I haven't played it, I've watched people play it. I watched a whole 2-hour documentary about a mod for it. That haunted house
Essentially-
mod.
Essentially, Nick, have you played Doom 3?
Bits and pieces.
That's basically Doom. It's just more of a, I say not
Quality of life?
modern, but it's a more
Doom
of a,
Doom 2016 is closer to Doom. Doom 3 is a slowed down.
but that's
Slowed
what I'm saying.
down.
It's a darker version of it. So yeah, it's more Dude,
Doom-
2016.
Doom's about the speed. Josh, you were so stupid.
I'm gonna kick you in the throat.
Do it.
I'm
do
taking
it.
back that Steam Deck.
That's
come
it.
kick
Street Fighter 2. It's on.
We'll do it. We're gonna do it new style. We'll go Street Fighter 6 just so I can beat his ass.
I'm gonna take you to the Doom Wikipedia, and you're
So-
gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
My question is, when I think about these kinds of franchises, why, like, okay, so think of like Persona. I think that's on this list as well. Persona 5 is the first Persona that I've played, Persona 5 Royal. And after playing it, I'm not particularly tempted to go back to the earlier games because I know that this game has like a lot of the quality of life improvements and it's just more I think pleasing to a modern sort of expectation.
Mhm.
So, when is it do you think valuable to go back and play like that original one even though we know it's going to be clunky and maybe painful?
I think when it's giving you a frame of reference, like Doom, just being first, and like kind of like giving you that appreciation of like, oh, okay, I see where this comes from. I'm not going to beat Doom 1993, but I appreciate
Right.
it for being the first, and now I'm gonna go play Valorant, or I'm gonna go play whatever shooter I'm playing over here.
Okay, yeah.
That being said, I mean, there's a reason Doom 2 isn't on this list because everyone's going to recommend, no, play Doom, and then skip to the new Doom or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Looking down, Last of Us. The further away I get from The Last of Us, the more I'm like, yeah, this series is just kind of.
It's overhyped.
The
Not-
TV show is really good.
The show is really good. I think it's the Naughty Dog, the pieces that Naughty Dog puts into these games. I hate the term walking sim, but between that and the Uncharted games, like, yes, they're filled with action and you're shooting enemies. There's just a lot of walking. There's a lot of walking simish things going on in them. That said, still amazing stories, still amazing worlds. I just wish
Yeah,
they were more
it's worth
fun
it
to
for the
interact
story.
with.
I really thought it was fun when I played it, but I never played the second one, and I don't have any intention to, so I don't know.
I think I'm not saying this to be edgy, but I'm one of the few that I think like the second one better than the first one. I know the story's messier. I know it pisses a lot of people off, but I just think it's a fun game. I think it's got
Yeah.
There's a little section in the second one where it's a bit open world, and you're like, oh, if this was the whole game, like they just play around with it as like it feels like they're testing it out, and you're like, oh, this feels great. If this was the whole game, like, yes, give me this. And as soon as that part's over, it just gets back into the walking sim side of things, where it's like, oh, all right, we got to go into that building. Oh, got to kill the clickers over here. Okay, we're walking. Oh, it's trapped. The other humans have us. Oh no.
Oh, just like too much on wheels for you or on tracks?
Yeah, too much on tracks. It's just, I think back to Uncharted 2 when you're climbing the train. And like, yeah, cool action set piece. The train is dangling off the mountain. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just following the path that they've created. You're not really.
Right.
It's an interactive story at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I think The Last of Us, the first one at least, does a lot of that. And the second one too. But when I see the open world portions, I'm like, yes, do this. Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Metal Gear Solid 3. Katie, go play Metal Gear Solid 3.
Go play it.
They're doing that remake that comes out later this year. I think that'll be.
There was a stage where I think I watched my brother or my dad play Metal Gear Solid, but I have no idea which ones or anything, so I can't really count it. I've
3 and
observed
Twin
them
Snakes.
being
It's the only
played.
one you need to play.
And two. Okay, there you go. 3 is considered a prequel, so I think you can jump into 3 and not need to know anything story wise. I mean, again, you'll have an appreciation for things going on in 3 if you have that previous knowledge from 1 and 2. But I don't think you necessarily need it to have a great time in Metal Gear Solid 3. It's a spy story. It's a good Cold War spy story. And they
Cool.
put a lot of new elements in there. There's a camo mechanic
Me-
in there that's really good.
medical, hunger.
You eat
I mean,
snakes. You eat
you eat
snakes. It's in the
snakes.
title. You eat snakes. It's
Okay.
it's a good game. I haven't played Half-Life 1, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, I played 2. I don't need to go back and do
Yeah.
1.
I mean, it's like you said.
That's how I feel.
Half-Life 2 is better personally, but
Mm.
I did it just say I played it, and even that I did the Black Mesa remake of it, and that's really good. Recommend that.
Mm.
I watched a documentary on that. Halo Combat Evolved, Katie, you don't need to play it. You
Okay,
don't.
cool.
It's
That's good.
it made
Start with 2. Just go to 2.
it made playing shooters on
I
console.
think I played Halo too.
It made
Well.
playing console shooters fun. You got everything you needed out of it from 2. You don't have to go back and play 1. The only thing I'd say you're missing is how powerful that pistol is in 1. But
And
even
the
then,
fact that it
you
had a
ain't got-
scope. The
you
fact
ain't
that it
got-
had a scope.
you ain't gotta mess with that. Minecraft, Ocarina of Time, duh.
Hmm.
I'm not big on the Civilization games, guys. You can't talk me into having to play these.
Oh
I
God,
mean-
I played that so long ago. I don't even know if I'm into it anymore. But I had a phase in probably middle school where I was obsessed, and I played a lot of Civilization.
You were
I got to the space
writing-
age.
You were writing all over your notebook, Mrs. Katie Meier, Civilization. Mrs. Katie Meier, Civilization. Mrs. Katie Meier, Civilization.
Yeah, with like little hearts and then the arrows, but they were like, from the horse archers or something.
I think that's gonna be the title, Josh.
Worth it.
It's a
Worth it.
good episode title. Maybe it gets beat. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not patient enough.
Nick,
for
you're not
games
missing
like that.
anything at this point.
Okay,
You're good.
Okay.
There's plenty of turn-based games you can play.
Going down the list: BioShock, Witcher 3,
Oh.
God of War.
So good. I'm actually playing Witcher 3 right now with my husband.
How
Pretty
are
fun.
you guys enjoying it?
It's super fun. We haven't played it enough because my husband's a gamer with a lowercase g.
Oh no!
So-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know. But
You
he does play with me sometimes. and
But
it's
you
super
married
fun
him
when we
because
do.
you were like, I can change him. I can fix him.
I can fix him. No. No, he's gonna teach me to play FIFA, and then I'll be the right kind of gamer for him then.
Does he do the fantasy packs in the FIFA that everybody does?
The
Oh
Ultimate
my
Team,
God, I don't know what
basically.
he does. He's really good at it, and he knows a lot about soccer anyway, and he does like fantasy football for soccer, and he does really good on that. So I don't know, his whole soccer, he's Irish, so he grew up like in the soccer sphere.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what he does, but he spends a lot of time and effort and thought on it. So
He probably does that. He probably does.
he
do that.
probably does. Yeah.
Is he hiding the credit card? No. um,
Well,
I'm glad.
I just bought Cybercat, the skin from Warzone, so I can't really say anything.
Katie's hiding the credit cards.
Exactly. Like, no,
Once-
but I need the gun tracers.
Once a year, they get to say hide the bill. If they say hide the bill, that means you can't ask them about it.
Exactly. Oh, we should make that a rule. No, scary.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Yeah, great game. I think when you guys finish it, I want to hear like how that was playing it as a couple. 'Cause I think there's a fun aspect to that.
Yeah.
Game no one should play as a couple. God of War.
I beg to differ.
I don't know.
I'm not talking about the very beginning. I'm talking about the rest of it. All right.
No, I'm just I don't think that I don't think, if I remember correctly, that game's got some rough camera placements,
It does. It
It's
really
got-
does.
and it's
So I forgot there were other God of War. I was only thinking of the
2018 God of War.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, not everything had its glory years, but
It's-
this is the start of it.
it's kind of crazy to think there's a generation under us that sees God of War 2018 as just God of War. Like that to them, that's God of War. And if you try to come at them with the 2005 God of War, they're like, "Get out of here, old man. Go on,
I
get."
don't acknowledge you.
I watched a reaction video of these kids playing Resident Evil with the fixed camera angles, and the way they reacted to it made me hurt inside.
Josh, you can't do that to yourself.
I did, and I was like, but that was the best part.
I'm sorry, Josh. Not to distract from the show, but I just realized your VR thing's hanging behind you, and it kind of looks like a droopy, sad face, and it kind of gave me a jump there.
Oh, right here.
Oh, I can see that.
It kind of sorry.
Oh, I do
It's
see
my
that.
office is
The
a mess right
uncanny
now. I'm
valley
fixing
of
everything.
peripherals.
I see I see faces and stuff sometimes. And ever since seeing Midsummer, I just see faces everywhere.
Is that better, Nick?
Yeah, just
Hold
keep
my
your
hand
hand.
up like a Cub
You know,
Scout.
you know what? You know what? Put that hand down. Put that hand down. I don't need you doing a Helldivers 2 again.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
eh, we've already talked about one Metal Gear. I think if you're gonna play one Metal Gear, I think 3, because that first Metal Gear Solid just hasn't aged that well.
That's why I said Twin Snakes. That version of
Mm.
it's so much better.
But it's so hard to get a hold of.
We're getting into the swath of games I haven't played.
That's okay.
Ooh, we do have a lot of this list. Let's abbreviate. Let's do a little abbreviated here. Shadow of the Colossus, I think, is a big piece of art that you should play. It's come out PS3, PS4. PS4 is actually a big old remake. I just think it's a beautiful game about the way we affect nature and how uncontrollable things are. Because there's the horse in that game controls terribly, and it plays so well into the themes of the
Mm.
game that I forgive it when I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, you're an asshole, but it works. It works. Let's see here. Let's scroll down to. We already talked about like a Souls. Yeah, you don't need to play Pokemon Yellow, Katie. It's all
I've
these
never
other
played any
games.
Pokemons except Pokemon Go.
That's fine. You don't have
Yeah.
they're dollar store.
They're all the same.
They're dollar store RPGs with stupid
Okay.
monsters.
Got it.
And that's not going to piss anybody off.
Digimon's better.
Seth would have had something to say about that. He's huge into Pokemon.
Josh, I'll raise you one better. Monster Rancher's better.
Ooh, okay.
Metroid Prime. We already said that there was one Metroid on this list worth playing. I do think Prime is worth playing though to see how they turn it into a first-person shooter.
Yes.
Which comes first?
Super Metroid comes
Well,
first.
that's
Okay.
confusing. That's confusing because
That's not confusing. They have
chronologically,
It goes Super Metroid, then it goes Prime, Prime 2, Prime 3, then it goes into Fusion, then it goes... Yeah, see?
he already had that ready to go.
I know that.
I know.
Metroid's my favorite,
Wow.
so...
Okay, gotcha.
I do think Prime is, if you're putting one thing on your list, I think Prime's a good one. I don't think you need Final Fantasy VI. I have it marked as not playing, but do you think you need Final Fantasy VI, Josh?
No.
I think there are
It's
plenty
good.
of other RPGs, plenty of other Final Fantasies.
Now, I'm going to get some flack for that, but yeah, you've got... I mean, do the popular ones. 7, 8, 9,
What do we
10.
care what they think, Josh? They like Final Fantasy VI.
Just saying, it
8,
has one of the best villains, okay? I'm just throwing it out there.
8
and the
is the
Ghost
best
Train.
Final Fantasy. I don't... New Vegas and Knights of the Old Republic, they're just so old at this point. I don't think either of them really does anything to where like you need to go back and experience
I
it.
won't play
I won't either.
I mean,
I have
of the
have
two, I would say
KOTOR.
New Vegas.
I have KOTOR sitting there waiting for me, and I know the remake is like up in the air of will they or won't they. I don't think they will, but I'm holding out that it'll happen.
Oh, here's a little fun fact. I have KOTOR for the Switch. Got it for a
them.
review.
Mm.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh no.
It's slow.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, that show how bad the Switch could be.
Is it like part of Nintendo's charm that it just can't keep up with anything technologically?
I think it's only because their first party games are the only games that can run on it decently.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Okay, so here's one I was super surprised by. You've both played Earthbound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
On my Switch. I
Yeah.
had the membership thingy. You can get them.
And I legally own it.
You legally own it. So I hear a lot about Earthbound, and I think Mother 3 is one of its eventual sequels.
Hmm.
Do I need to play Earthbound?
I personally don't think so. I think you can see where like Undertale takes a lot from Earthbound. You can definitely see like how it sprouted and grew kind of the genre, but it's not real fun in my opinion.
It's definitely slow. It's a
Yeah.
very slow game.
It's very slow with so many pop-up enemies. I was like, can I just have a mallet and just go pow, 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 pow?
That'd be too easy.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm writing down never play this game. Replay Undertale. Marking it down.
Okay.
We've
You
all
heard it
played
here,
Left
folks.
4 Dead. We've all played Miss Pac-Man, Counter-Strike. None of us played Baldur's Gate 2. I don't think we need to at this point
We
because
have
3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
We've got 3.
So, sorry. There's
got
no
3.
going back for me. I'm
Uh,
going to spend this rest of my life on this game.
Josh played Deus Ex.
No.
We don't need to.
If you're gonna go to Deus Ex, just do Mankind Divided and the one before it.
Yeah, just be disappointed by the newer ones.
Don't say that, man. Sick
So mean.
bastard.
Katie, you don't have to play The Witness. It's Jonathan Blow.
Is it not good?
It's okay. It's a convoluted puzzle game that
It's on
thinks
my list.
more-
I love.
It thinks it's more complicated than it
puzzles.
really is.
It's actually one of the easier ones.
Oh, okay.
Once you find out its secrets, it's like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Very underwhelming.
I do want to have a shout out for Journey. Anyone who hasn't played Journey should play Journey.
I've played it.
So
I played it
good.
recently.
I love
I think
Journey.
they said they're doing a remaster of it soon.
I think
Wow.
I think they are. It's getting
That
up
was
there.
one of my most magical moments playing games was I played Journey. I got it for free on the or at the time it must have been it was the PlayStation. I got it for free on the PlayStation and I was like, jumping around trying to figure out how this game works, and there was this other little character that looked like me and it was running around and it was showing me, and I thought, "Oh, they have an AI that like is the tutorial that shows you how to do it." And then this quote unquote AI went with me through almost the entire game. And it was only after I beat the game that I found out that was a real person that had stopped and stayed with me and helped me and taught me how to play. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most heartwarming experience I've ever had.
I would have been. Was there a moment where you were a little creeped out, like, oh, this has been a person the entire time?
No, I was like, how kind. Like they knew that I didn't like they could see that I didn't understand how to play, and they were like chirping for me and showing me what to do. And no, I just thought it was lovely. I was like, oh, I have a little friend.
And kindness is a rarity on the internet, so when you find it, you just hold on to it. You hold on to it
Yeah,
and don't let go.
just hold on to it.
I will say I think everyone should play Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare just
Oh,
to
it's so
see
good.
why we are in the cycle of Call of Duty every year and see why Warzone became a thing. Like, yeah, I think you have to see the footprint of it.
And the campaign is honestly very impactful. I thought it was a really good campaign.
It's got oof. The
And
new
the hardest
So good.
epilogue on Veteran.
Mm.
Mile High Club. I played
Mile High Club.
I rubbed my thumbs
Oh
raw
yeah,
playing
Mile
that
High
thing.
Club. I remember that.
I don't think you have to play Mass Effect.
I think you can go straight to 2. Personally. 2 is
I think
so much
People
better.
say that. People say that, and I'm like, what? I don't.
That
I don't
first
agree.
one is just aged like milk. Between the movements, it doesn't feel good to play. The
Yeah.
inventory is bad. The storytelling is really good.
That was my first like Choices Matter RPG, and I just thought it was so special.
And then you found out your choices didn't matter.
No, it did in 2. It mattered in 2.
yeah, there were some in 2. San Andreas is the best Grand Theft Auto. So if you're gonna play one Grand Theft Auto, I think it has to be San Andreas.
Mhm.
It's probably aged like shit
Oh, it has.
since it's 20 years old at this point.
Jesus.
But I think it's the most well-rounded one they've made. Again, Grand Theft Auto 4, they fucked up the driving. Grand Theft Auto 5 is just this big. It's just this big onboarding ramp for Grand Theft Auto Online at that point. Silent Hill 2, I think people need to play it just to understand why Silent Hill fans are so fucking weird and why they're so attached. It's the weirdest thing, that fandom. That fandom is the weirdest thing because they've only had one, maybe 2 great games in the series, and they're all just so latched onto the series now. It's the weirdest thing. It's the like any other series has 1 or 2 hits and then 10 terrible games, and there's no fandom. There's maybe like 1 or 2 oddballs that love it. Silent Hill just keeps people coming back. They love to be hurt. Those poor bastards. Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is good, but it's probably not the best aged game at this point.
I mean, the best part about it was the multiplayer.
True. Let's scroll down a little bit. Donkey Kong. It's an old arcade game. Screw it, Katie. You don't have to play Donkey Kong.
No. I think that we need to play Spelunky though, because I've heard such
Yes.
good things about Spelunky. It
I-
surprises me that none of us have played it.
I just see speed runs of it all the time, and it blows my mind.
Mm.
Like, I really want to play it, but then I just get sidetracked, and it
Mhm.
just stays at the bottom of my list.
I think
So many games, so little time.
I think I have 1 or 2 installed on Game Pass, and I'm like, I'm gonna play it, and it never happened. It never happened for me. One of those ones that got away. I think nobody has to play any Battlefield game ever again. It doesn't have to be that way.
Oh, shut up, Nick. It's still good.
Looking at this list, Skyrim. How can you not play Skyrim? It's everywhere.
Well, at this point,
It's
don't.
so
It's not
good
worth it because
still.
it seems like they do a new version of it every other year.
GoldenEye. You don't have to play that. You don't have to play GoldenEye. You don't have to do that. You don't have to suffer through the one thumbstick movements. You can play Vice City for the vibe. You can play for the
Mm.
vibe. Do I need to
I
play?
think
Huh?
Do you need to play what?
Do I need to play Persona 5? Do I need to do it?
I think if you like that kind of game, like that turn-based sort of like life sim / dungeon delving, like it is pretty good. Like I've put 130 hours into it, and
I
I
say I'm
enjoyed my
probably
time
like
with it a lot.
probably 200 hours into it myself. I'm on my
Yeah.
third playthrough, so
There is part
Yeah,
of me
it
that's
is really
nervous
well done.
because I really like Boyfriend Dungeon, and it just sounds like a more involved Boyfriend Dungeon.
except you're
Mm.
not. I mean, I think the only. Well, no, there's 2 of them, I guess technically. If you're playing Royal, you can flirt with everybody.
Okay. Do they turn into
Mhm.
weapons?
No,
Damn.
but they could be on your team. Most of them.
Why do you sound like a Nelly Furtado song? I want you on my team, so does everybody else. I mean, I'm looking at these. System Shock 2. I look at that and I'm like, that's more of an atmosphere. Like,
Yeah.
it's a vibe. I look at Monster Hunter. Do I need to play
I
Monster
see. I
Hunter
think
World? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you can look at System Shock 2 and then look at BioShock and see it as that spiritual successor and kind of get what you need from it.
Just play one or the other and then be happy with the one that you played.
BioShock.
BioShock. Resident Evil 2. You don't have to play any of those fixed camera Resident Evils. You don't have to put
Oh,
yourself
hold
through
on
that
now,
anymore.
hold on. I mean, yeah, because they've remastered. Probably the only one I would say to avoid is 3. Definitely go back to the old 3 because it's so much better. But beyond that, I agree. Just stick with the new ones. It's essentially the same thing. They get the vibe. It's just better camera angle.
So here's a rarity. We have 2 that Katie have played that neither of us have played. Do we need to play SimCity 2000 or Thief 2: The Metal Age, Katie?
SimCity has been replaced by City Skylines. That is better. And you know what? The Thief games are really fun. They are really fun. I was only
I
playing
did
that
the
one
one they
recently.
had for the Xbox PS4. For which one that one is? I guess it's the remake of the first one, maybe.
Hmm.
But beyond that, I never really got into Thief.
Yeah, I don't know how that one has aged. Like, I don't know how that would go. But I remember watching my dad play that game as a kid. We would all he'd be at the PC, and my brother and my mom and I would all be standing around him, and we'd be like, "Well, there's a guard! Run, run, run!" Like, it was so much fun.
I do like the look of those games. They remind me a lot of like the Hitman games from that same time frame.
Yeah,
I think they
and
have
I
the
think
same
that
aesthetic. Just with I think isn't Thief like historical? Not like
Mhm.
historical to the
yeah,
T,
like
but
it's back in time. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that it's you can definitely see the influence on like Dishonored is deeply, I think, influenced by the vibe of Thief.
Mm, I believe that. Another game on my list I need to play, Dishonored. I'm gonna scroll down. Katie, you call Burnout 3 Takedown the best racing game of all time?
Yeah.
Without a
Oh
doubt.
my gosh.
She was
So
right.
fucking good. I look, I keep trying to like Burnout Paradise, but the open world thing just fucks me up. I can't figure out where I'm supposed to go. I just want to click on the race, pick my car, and race it 800 times until I get 3 stars. Like, is that too much to ask for?
I just want DJ Lazo to play Sugar Cult for me, Memory. So and I just want to crash. This may never
Do you remember when you would do the Oh, they were like crash courses where like demolition courses where
Yep.
you were just trying to do as much damage as possible.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I lived for those. And then was it Burnout 2 or Burnout 3 that had the European like world tour?
think
I can't remember now.
It might have been 2. I
That
don't remember it in
2.
3.
Might have been 2. I don't remember, but it was so much fun. And I just remember like these were the games that I grew up with like as a young like high school or like middle school, and they just, there's something to be said for that level of nostalgia.
Oh man, I can still smell that game. Like I can see the box. I can feel the box. I can smell the
We
box.
ruined so many PS2s because of that game.
It's a good ass game. It was a really good game.
That's
Game of
That's
the
right. We
year.
Good
didn't destroy the
game.
disc. We destroyed the console.
Oh no.
Speaking of
Too
Dishonored,
much.
I have played Dishonored. I just need to go back and actually finish it. I do think everyone should play Pokemon Go. I think that was a really cool moment in history that everyone came
Mhm.
together around a game. And it's still got its people that are going out and going out and catching Pokemon and doing battles and all that stuff.
They actually have a huge event coming up soon.
Wow.
Anything on this list that we didn't talk about that someone wants to get a word in on? I know I'm scrolling really fast.
Black Flag only because they don't want you to waste your money on Skull and Bones.
Okay, I'll play Assassin's Creed Black Flag just so I don't play Skull and Bones. Undertale, really good little indie game with a lot of heart.
Best soundtrack ever.
Oh my god, that spider battle, and then she's throwing her webs at you, and it's a oh, I might go listen to
I
that
get
right
hooked
after
over
this.
hopes and dreams.
Is that the? That's not Megalovania, is it?
No. That's Megalovania. Hopes and
Okay.
Dreams is the da 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 da. All right, we'll play it later.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
I gave that one a really, really good try. Like I put like 7 hours into it probably, and I couldn't like it, so I quit.
It's
I get it.
goofy.
Gameplay wise,
goofy.
it's a little different, but I mean, overall, I still think it definitely showed that indie games are not
Yeah.
to be messed with. Like one
Oh.
guy sat there and did all this work, and it's a fantastic game. And honestly,
I wanted so much to like it. I felt guilty that I didn't like it actually, because I
No.
know that it's like a great game.
my thing is, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, but at the same time, as long as you give it the try, the college try, you're
Mhm.
good.
Katie,
Put
I'll
your effort
trade
in.
you. I'll give Citizen Sleeper another go. You give Undertale another go.
So, oh my God, this is the exact you haven't heard this, but this is the exact fucking trade that I made with Dempsey. Dempsey was like, "I'll play Citizen Sleeper if you play Undertale." So then I did, and
History
But
repeats itself.
I will try it for the third time if you will try Citizen Sleeper.
The third time is the charm. I'm telling you, it worked for what's the game? Transistor. It worked for Transistor. I hated
Okay.
Transistor the first 2 times I played it. Now I love it. Now
You know, it worked for Disco Elysium for me as well. I had to try that one a few times.
It's the third. Once you're over the third hump, then you're just like, oh no, I get it now. I get it
My
now.
brain's like, "You're never gonna let me rest. Fine, play it."
Fine, I'll play the fucking game. Hey everybody, we reached the end of the episode. Look at that. We did it. We did it. It hasn't been a week since I'm sorry, my brain is still thinking it's been like a month since we last recorded. It hasn't. It's only been a week. Katie, thank you as always for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
We enjoy having you on the show every time. Where can the folks keep up with you on the webs?
So we're Overthinking Games Podcast, a podcast about what video games can teach us. And we're on all the places that you can find podcasts, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the huge. And then we're also on TikTok, under
now.
the same name. And we try to keep that pretty active as well. So yeah, you can find us there.
All right, go check that out. We'll have some links to that down in the show notes. You can keep up with me on Twitter at @ThatKaufman. You can also find me on Twitch and YouTube at NickFatNight. Not that I'm doing anything over there. I've also got reviews up on Game Chronicles and articles up on Hard Drive. So go check that stuff out over there. You never know when stuff's going to pop up. Josh, where can the people find you?
Anywhere and everywhere. I'm Josh Saying, and reviews over at Game Chronicles.
Yeah, he's going to have one up for Howl here. And not by the time you hear this, but probably a little bit after.
No, probably by the time it's this comes out, I'll have it up.
Nice. And I'll have my Wolong one sometime in 2024. As always, Smashing Game Time. You can get us anywhere you get your podcasts. We're also on the X, the Instagram, the TikTok. We're not as active as we used to be over there. When we went down to 2 of us, something had to go, and it was the TikTok. We've also got a website, smashinggametime.com. Go over there and check that out. I am coming back from illness. I'm working on my fellowship stuff, so the journals are still being pushed back a little bit, but keep an eye out for written stuff over there. Also, the podcast is going up over there, so there's still something to check out on the website. It's not sitting dormant. There's still new stuff going up. Yeah, and as always, thank you to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. There's a link to his SoundCloud down in the show notes, so go check it out. He's got some awesome stuff. Hey, everybody, we did it. We reached the end of the episode. This has been Smashing Game Time. I hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.